Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 168 of the Salvaggio and Cratty Sports Podcast. Here for you again on Thursday night, November 16th at 7:08 p.m. Patriots are going to a bye week. They lost one of the worst games you'll ever see a couple football teams play, and we get some Bruins stuff and other NFL stuff as we usually do to talk to tonight. So, without further ado, Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing great. MLB Awards just came out. I'm like $240 richer now because Sal Stradamus is back, picking Shohei Ohtani and Ronald Acuna Jr. as the MVPs of the league. How about that? We kind of touched on the awards, I think, last week, 2 weeks ago? It was last week, I think. And, so far, so good. I was wrong with the Blake Snell pick. Kind of surprised they gave the Zach Allen pick. Kind of surprised they gave it to Blake Snell. Other than that, things are going well. And that's probably all the baseball talk we're going to do on the show tonight, unless you had anything from the awards or anything that has caught your eye.
No.
Fair enough. The awards always a weird time. They always seem to just kind of creep up on you. Like, hey, they're giving out Rookie of the Year tonight. It's like, oh, okay, cool. It's a random Monday in November. So
all I had was a leftover Yoshida bonus bet from when I signed up for DraftKings for Rookie of the Year. So he didn't even make the top three. So it wasn't really sweating that one. Hopefully I can have as good luck as you with some of my NHL futures. I just put one in last week too on Elias Pettersson, who was somehow still plus 1,000 to win MVP.
Well, that Swayman and Olmark real quick. That the over 20 wins or at 20 wins or more. That bet's looking pretty good for us so far. So kudos to you for pointing that one out to me.
Yeah, come on, too easy. Studs and duds. Patriots lose 10-6. I almost said 20-6. It felt like 20-6.
I was just gonna say it felt like that for sure.
This game was just they find different ways to blow our minds in the worst way possible. And studs and duds as usual. I will start with you, Ryan.
Yeah, a guy that has found the studs list more so than not, probably going to find a little bit more because he is one of the few guys I feel like that is left trying on this team, that is coming in every week and playing very well and giving you something to enjoy watching. You talked about it, I think, last week. One of the few guys that does that. Jelani Tavai, 7 tackles, 1 pass defended against, 57 snaps, played all of the defensive snaps. Of course, had to step up his role with no Juwan Bentley and filled in really nicely for him. His tip pass led to the Miles Bryant interception. So I think you can give him just as much credit for making that play as people do Bryant, rightfully so. And then this I found the other day from Pro Football Focus, New England Patriots on Twitter, or X, depending on how you look at it. Said, quote, Jelani Tavai is in coverage this season, 153 snaps played, 3 first downs allowed, and no touchdowns allowed. He's been a surprisingly good coverage linebacker. And as you've talked about before, he just, every game it seems like he's all over the field playing, with his hair on fire, making a big play pretty much every game.
Yeah, he's one of the guys you can rely on now, and that's pretty nice. And you want some silver linings, even when you're kind of rooting for your team to lose. I'm not in the same camp as I was after the Commanders game, where I was pretty bummed out. I'm just there are some more laughable moments in that one, not like a close game you lose at the end due to a deflected pass leading to an interception. Demario Douglas deserves some shine this week. Career high in receiving yards, 6 catches on 9 targets. Waiting for him to get in the end zone because he's earned it. It's crazy what could have happened if he did this all year. Everybody said it. I get it the first few weeks, but it lasted too long, and it's being shown why. Kid's good. He's fast. He's elusive. He's smart. Really not a lot to hate about this kid. I can't think of anything, to be honest with you, and I love him. Just an absolute steal in the 6th round. Is one of those guys that early on in retrospect, you're like, why didn't he go higher? I'd probably say the size has something to do with it, but I'm not a scout. Probably some other factors as well. But man, did they find a gem? And it's nice when you find that gem, and then the other receiver you draft you don't even trust to use. So at least there's that.
That balances itself out in the end.
Yeah,
he's been great, and I think, like you said, you've hit on all the points that I would have hit on if he was in my studs list. Spoiler alert, he is not. Good, we have a little bit of variety when it was a tough week to find some studs here, but like you said, crazy what the guy can do when he gets handed the ball. He's your best player on offense, it looks like. Continue to give him the football, even if the quarterback's going to stink and make mistakes. At least he is one of the few guys that are actually fun and enjoyable to watch out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And our 1 and 2 studs are in different order, but the same 2 guys.
Yep. I have Ramondre Stevenson as my 2. As you alluded to, he is your 1, so feel free to jump in whenever you can. We can flip-flop back and forth. Another guy that has kind of found his footing and is becoming more and more enjoyable to watch again as the weeks goes on, Ramondre Stevenson, as I said. 20 rushes, 88 yards, 3 catches on 5 targets, and 14 yards in the air. He looked like vintage Ramondre Stevenson in this game more in more ways than one. Ran hard, was able to find holes with power and speed, which we've liked to see from him in the past. Saw a lot of last year, and that was still coming along this year. And then had some really nice blitz pickups as well. Again, that was something I think Bill Belichick talked highly of him a lot last year. You're starting to see that more. Something I kind of alluded to last week, I think, on the show when I said, I know they have 2 solid backs, Stevenson and Zeke, but it seems like Stevenson plays better throughout the game when he is getting the bulk of the carries and getting more carries as the game goes on. You saw that in this one, and it ended up being true. So good to see Stevenson these last couple of weeks find his footing again, put together a couple of nice games here and there.
Yeah, and I might as well just get to him. He's my number 1, but it kind of makes more sense than hopping around. That's another guy. They didn't really know how to use him. He was struggling a little bit. I feel like his usage was weird to start, not going with what works best. Now that it is working, it's working quite nicely. And I want to give a shout out to Zeke too, because he also had a good game. Which is, he's a guy that's been stepping up too, not quite as explosively for the most part as Stevenson, but Zeke has found a nice fit here, and I'm glad they brought him in because it gives you something to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean Ramondre getting a little bit back to maybe not full form from last year, but pretty close, and I'm pretty satisfied because I did get a little worried early on that whether it was what they were scheming up for him or him himself, something that of a funk or a sophomore slump. I hate the sophomore slump term, but yeah, it's good. I like it.
Yeah, how can you not? Again, when there's not a lot to watch in this team that is enjoyable, it's nice to have a couple of these guys here and there. And this guy, I think, is fully in the category of that. Christian Barmore, probably the 3rd or 4th week in a row, he finds his way to the studs list. My 1, your 2, 4 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 quarterback hit, 2.5 hurries, and played 39 snaps, which was 68% of the defensive snaps. Also had 3 run stuffs from Greg Bedard of Boston Sports Journal. Had that the other day on Felger and Maz. Had to go up against Quentin Nelson. That is not an easy task to do in the NFL, one of the better offensive linemen across the league. And Barmore played really, really well. Another game where he seemed to be all over the field, was making some big plays here and there in a game that was, I think, more on the defensive side than anything else. You can maybe say that with, how bad the quarterbacks played, that it just was that type of game. But Barmore stood out nonetheless, and continues to be a great piece of this defense, and hopefully a guy that you can count on moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. I just love Christian Barmore every week now. He's in the mix. He's powerful, plays with aggression. Love him a lot. He was a beast, and I hope this continues. Another guy, looking for silver linings here. He is becoming one of the consistent guys. I want to get to my number 3 dud first because I hate Lawrence Guy.
Yeah, you've turned on him very quickly, it seems.
He should be a superhero with his invisibility powers. He truly does nothing. It's crazy how you can be in the middle of the defensive line and do nothing consistently like this. He played 49% of snaps. There's no excuse. He sucks. A guy that wanted more money.
I was just gonna say that. I wonder if that's kind of reared its ugly head again. Of that's crept back into his mind that the whole contract stuff. But
if you're this bad, just get rid of guys like this. I'm so sick of watching guys like this who are just anti-football pussies. Him and Trent Brown before Trent Brown got hurt. They're talking about money and then they're not consistent. It's not even the play. It's just showing up. You never see these guys doing anything impactful, and it bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah, it sucks because this is, again, no pun intended, a guy that you could, I feel rely on pretty heavily and was really good these last couple of years. And then now, again, the contract stuff comes out this year, and I don't think it's too crazy to say they go hand in hand. The play has dipped. I don't know how many. I forgot to look it up when you put him in here. I don't know if you had it at the top of your head, if he had snaps diminished or anything, but
no, I didn't see anything about that.
Okay, fair enough.
He played 49% of the.
Oh yeah, so snaps. Right up there with half of. So it's a performance thing at this point. It's a guy that I think you have to look.
This guy's washed.
Yeah, you have to look at moving forward and say, can we rely on him? Probably not. Maybe you have to cut bait at the end of the season because I'd
rather just see a young guy. See what you have in Sam Roberts some more. I don't care.
Yeah, I think at this point, maybe we'll touch on that, after the studs and duds things. But I think at this point, the consensus is pretty much start playing the kids that you have, see what you have in some of these guys. And maybe again weed out some of these guys that may not want to be here moving forward. Maybe Lawrence Guy is one of those guys.
Yeah, I want him gone in the
Fair enough.
offseason.
I cheated again. I put the whole special teams unit as my number
That's
3
okay.
dud because it is, spoiler alert, because you did the same thing coming up here, which I commend you for. But yeah, the whole special teams unit, it has stunk most of the year for the most part. It was not good in this game. Chad Ryland missed what I feel like a lot of people would consider a chip shot, 35-yard field goal, which would have made the game 7-6. His fifth missed field goal on the season. By the way, Nick Folk waited until this past week to miss his first. He's 21 for 22. And his first miss was a 51-yarder. Meanwhile, Chad Ryland can't knock down chip shots, which is great to see. And he's 1 for 3 on 50-plus yarders. So not a great move there, Bill, again, trading up in the 4th round or whatever it was for a kicker when you had a pretty good one and didn't really show any signs of slowing down. You had just a laughable play of no one being back to recover a 69-yard punt. So that was good in the game when you're already, struggling to get things going on offense. You gave up the 42-yard kick return to Isaiah McKenzie, who just continues to play really well against the Patriots, whether he's with the Colts or the Bills or whatever it may be. That drive, of course, ended in what ended up being the final score of the game, 10-6, the field goal that Indianapolis hit. And then Bryce Behringer had 2 touchbacks again. So not a good game for the punting unit as a whole and the special teams unit as a whole. And again, it's something Bill Belichick prides himself on. You continue to have these stupid mistakes, and it continues to just show how depleted this roster is and how dumb this team is, and how, as we'll get to probably later, it might be time to move on from multiple coaches, starting with the head coach, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about that later. I have my thoughts, but yeah, I'll give Ryland a little bit of benefit to doubt. One game the weather was a little rough and there was some wind, but overall it just hasn't been a great rookie season for him, no matter how you slice it. And yeah, it's funny how Isaiah McKenzie, a guy who probably wouldn't have played, I forget who was hurt that he played more. I saw leading up to the game.
Was Downs in? Yeah. I can't remember if I saw him or not.
Downs
played,
he was
questionable.
But I feel like he didn't play that much.
Okay.
He wasn't there as consistently, I feel like, at least. I'm going with the O-line because it just felt like every time they needed to give Max space in a somewhat crucial moment, anywhere from literally 2nd to 4th down, you could, if you're looking at the film, I don't know, but it felt like no matter what it was on just crucial plays, late downs, they just had nothing. And it's not even just like letting them get to Mac after a while. It just, getting blown by a few times.
Mm-hmm.
I just I don't understand. It's not the strongest unit personnel wise anymore, but this shit needs to stop with the inconsistency because look, the Colts have a decent pass rush, but they shouldn't be cooking you like this. DeForest Buckner,
yep.
DeForest Buckner's still good, but his best days were in San Fran, I'd say. Kwity Paye got hurt at some point. Don't even know if he came back. Deo, not even going to try to pronounce his name, had some plays. I think he had a sack, maybe a sack and a half or something. It's not this lights out unit. And they made the Patriots O-line made it look like that. And I hate to say it, but David Andrews is looking rough at times too, which really pains me to say. But in City Sal, the luster kind of wore off a little bit in this game, as you're going to get to.
Yep.
Michael Wenu, I don't really have anything to point out for him. I don't know if he was really a part of it. Nothing that I noticed. And Cole Strange is fucking horrible. What an unbelievably predictably bad draft pick. Never draft a guard in the 1st round unless it's this no doubter top 15 player. Not this guy who's not even a guaranteed 1st rounder at a Chattanooga. Oh God,
that other teams laugh at you, as we've talked about before. Laugh at you.
Could have had Trent McDuffie. Could have had fucking. I don't know. Trent McDuffie might have went before, but no, I think McDuffie went with the pick they traded originally.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yep,
just the best.
Oh, that was the 2022 draft.
Let's take a look. Let's revisit this for anybody who doesn't have it off the top of their head who they could have had instead of Cole Strange. Let's run off some names, Ryan, shall we?
Sure. I mean, you could run off names that whole draft, seeing that there might be 1 or 2 guys from the 2022 draft. I saw a tweet. I forgot to put in the outline though. How many guys have been failures from that draft?
I mixed up the Chiefs draft picks. McDuffie went 21. Karlaftis would have been a nice guy to have off the edge, I guess. I don't know if they would have drafted an edge rusher. Dax Hill, good young safety. Lewis Seen, don't really feel like he's been super healthy, so I don't know about him. I haven't really seen him that much. Christian Watson, Breece Hall, don't really need a running back. Jalen Petrie is a stud for Baylor.
Definitely would take him.
I would take Kyler Gordon. I'd take Boye Mafe. I would take Yeah, that's really about it, honestly. But those are some names.
The point
George
still stands.
Pickens. George Pickens is a little bit further
Absolutely.
down, but
Yeah.
the
He's
point
kind of a
stands.
cuckoo, but I take him too.
Brian Cook went late second round. That's a little bit of a reach, but we're getting a little long-winded here. But you get my point. You know,
Yep.
do a little one of those exercises. And Ryan, wait. Oh, you have your number 2 dot. I almost got ahead of myself.
I do. I went
I kinda flew it at him.
simpler. You, like you said, you took the whole offensive line. I took one guy to stand out, but I do have a stat in it that backs up your claim that the offensive line as a whole was bad, because it was. But I picked as mine. 2 sacks, 1 hit. He'd been good up until this game, so I'm not going to knock him too much. Just a rough game here. Like I said, the offensive line as a whole was horrible when it came to pass blocking. So much so the Patriots pretty much said we're running the ball the entire second half, which was smart and ended up almost working out for them. Until their 2 quarterbacks proved to be the biggest idiots in the NFL. But this stat, like I said, according to ESPN, it said, quote, since 2000, the 5 sacks allowed in the first half tied a high for the Patriots under Bill Belichick. Joined Brady in 2015 when that happened, and then Sam Cassell, of course, in the 2008 season when he had to take over for Brady.
Matt Castle.
Matt Castle. Did I say Sam Cassell?
Yeah.
I get the Celtics on the mind. They're like the one of 2 good teams remaining in Boston. So, Matt Castle. Everyone knows that. So was not good. The offensive line was not good as a whole. I think we've kind of beat that horse to death here. So we're going to move on to number 1, the consensus that you can take as we flip back to you. Pretty obvious if you watch this game.
And it's so funny because like I wasn't following his stats as the game went on, but like he only like 15 for 20. That's fine. Like if you win a close game in that like low scoring, that's fine. But like it's crazy that he was that efficient, with the passes he did throw, because they were just all nothing. It was nothing. He was one read Mac. He was panic Mac.
Yep.
And the interception was, off the top of my head, the worst throw I've ever seen. And it left me in a mental tailspin for a good 10 minutes, just like gawking. Matt, who's listening, can attest to this. Just in pure disbelief. It's just not happening here.
That change of scenery needs to happen.
Not. The change. I don't care what you do around it. Like you're in a position where you could actually, do that on a different level with a top 3 pick and an early second. It's not going to work. Like even if it does work, it's not worth risking. It's just not. If you draft Marvin Harrison, draft us today, you draft Marvin Harrison and you draft like Jaden Daniels and Mac Jones starts the season as the QB and it doesn't work, you're wasting the start of his career.
Yep.
And Marvin Harrison could be the best receiver in the league someday. It is there's too much shit coming out about Mac Jones, his teammates, not vibing with him, and coaches getting mad. Bill O'Brien's got mad at him a bunch this year. Belichick has, apparently there's reports here and there of Kraft and Belichick not seeing eye on him. Whatever you want to say. There's so many unsubstantiated reports that I feel like people are like, oh, this and this about Mac Jones, then nothing happens about it.
Yep.
And it's just speculated on by guys. I'm not like throwing them under the bus here, but like I feel like it's guys like Tommy Curran and Bert Breer who are sending these out that like I think don't get proven because the Patriots are so tight-lipped. It's not like a shot on their sources. I just think that's how it is. It just bugs me how like that's just how the organization is. We never find out if these things are true until like maybe years later.
Yeah, I was just gonna say 5 or 10 years down the road when like a book comes out or something.
We'll find out about this in a book, or someone will give a scoop to sports radio guys. It's just all speculation, and it got to the point where whether it's true or not, you absolutely fucking cannot, especially if you have a new coach, start with Mac Jones next year. You just can't.
He's so far broken
in the system. It's not going to work.
No. Yeah, I mean, I've said it a couple weeks now. It's gotten tougher and tougher to defend him. I think after this performance, there's just no defending him anymore. Just because, I mean, you see it in games. There is ability that is still there. The throws we talked about before, you have the drops from guys like Rieger and Parker, but then you have, just like you said, the dumbest plays you will ever see on one of the worst interceptions thrown. That I'm sure you saw the video from right behind it, which makes it look 1,000 times worse than it already was. Another throw in this game too that people have pointed out as well, that just underhand kind of heaved to Ramondre Stevenson, that he was lucky that didn't get picked off on a ball that just kind of flooded out to him. So like the decision making, you said it, he's broken. I don't think there's any fixing him here. There's no really point anymore, I think, after the season to keep him here. Now we'll talk about in a second, what do you do with him going forward? Because obviously we saw him get benched again and Zappe come in, and Bill Belichick give the most bullshit excuse I've ever heard as to why Zappe came into this game, saying, I thought it was time to make a change. Because, 2 minutes left to go in the football game. Put your backup quarterback in who hasn't played. Hasn't played pretty much the entire season.
Good.
Yeah, and I think even I'm gonna mess it up. It was Devin McCourty on the game, right? Not Jason. If you can remember back there, I think it was Devin.
No, dude. This game was a blur.
Fair enough, but whichever McCourty it was brought up a good point. That was like, how is this going to work? You can't imagine Bailey Zappe's been running the 2-minute drill in practice, so this probably isn't going to end well for the Patriots, and it didn't. The funny thing about this too was watching this game at work. A buddy of mine in passing was like, "Oh, let's score the Patriots game." I'm like, "Oh, it's 10-6. They're getting the ball back." With around, like, they got the ball with like 7 minutes to go. They'll be good. And he goes, "Oh, they'll be good. They'll come back and win the game." I go, "No, it's not going to happen." I go, "Mac will probably do something stupid, get him downfield and throw a pick with 4 minutes left. Come to find out with 2 minutes left, and come to find out I was 2 minutes too late or too early when he throws an interception right around the 4-minute mark." So another inexcusable play. We can jump right into it now as we transition here, unless you had anything else from studs and duds that you wanted to add. But I think a pick like that, I think what you saw from Bill O'Brien on the sideline, as you pointed out, just kind of the uncertainty moving forward. I think he's done here. I don't think you can, coming out of the bye week, play him another week. I think maybe you do this just to protect him at this point, because I can't imagine things get much worse, but we still do have 5-6 weeks left to go coming out of the bye week. So where are you sitting with this? Are you going with Mac Jones coming out of the bye? Or are you more so give it to Zappe, give it to maybe Greer or Cunningham if you want to give either of those guys a look? What's your plan moving forward if you have one? Because like you said, there have been some stuff come out, or have some things come out about the potential future of Jones and what people think about him. So I don't know if you wanted to dive into any of those things.
Quarterbacks get benched and they play, but a quarterback who's got benched multiple times, including in a winnable game overseas, for a quarterback that's worse than him in a 2-minute drill is different. Tommy Curran, another guy, reporting that they might go Will Greer. I think, Will Greer at this point is probably going to be better than Mac Jones.
I'd like to see, rate, just give me something.
Mentally, Mac Jones is not right. Will Greer is a guy that ended the preseason on a motivated note, got released and balled out in a preseason game. I'd like to see him at least get a shot. Like if you really want to just not go with Mac Jones, it should be Will Greer. You gain nothing from Bailey Zappe at this point. You gain nothing from Malik Cunningham besides putting him out there for some fun plays. Yeah. Like he's not going to be a guy you play a full NFL game. He's just not. He's one of those kind of gadget guys that, we see every, like one or two of them every year. At this point, I think you have the most to gain from Will Greer. And if you want to just keep it going, just go with Mac Jones and see what happens. Because at the end of the day, if you lose games, it's better for the long run. It's better for the post Belichick era, because I don't think he's coaching this team next season. You have to just embrace it at this point. The worse and worse it gets, the more and more you have to embrace it. And I think your odds of getting a better draft pick might be the best with Mac Jones. Realistically, they're the best with Bailey Zappe. Bailey Zappe would complete like 8 passes in a game. Realistically, the way he plays, I like him. He's just not good. Like, he's somehow worse than Mac Jones, who's been the worst quarterback in the league. You can make the case this year. I can't believe I put so many futures on the Patriots win total and Mac Jones. Fuck, was I wrong? And I just said that to my dad downstairs talking about the baseball bets. I'm like, well, we know my 2 Patriots ones of Christian Gonzalez winning Defensive Rookie of the Year and the Patriots winning over 7.5 games are definitely not going to hit. So I'm just hoping for Will Greer for the sake of just not having to watch Mac at this point. I don't think Will Greer is going to come out and win big games for you. I think he's just going to provide better service, more serviceable quarterback play. If they want that, this benching is different. Like 2-minute drill, a 4-point game. And he gets benched. This one feels different. Like, what do you really gain from putting Mac back out there? Like, not much. If you want to embarrass him more and put him in an even worse spot and really just try to kill his NFL career, like if he continues to make these type of mistakes, then I think you do that. If you're that big of an a-hole, which Bill Belichick might be at this point. Yeah, he is. Let's be real. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm with you. I kind of listening to you talk about it. I feel like we're kind of in the same spot we were, maybe not to the same extent of a couple of years back, where we had this discussion of, Jarrett Stidham sitting there. Why not play him to see what you have in him?
to finish out the year when, you had the Cam Newton year. I'm with you. Like I same exact thing. Zappy's not going to win you any games. And not like he lost you that game on Sunday. But again, you see him come in, he's throwing footballs through guys, passes aren't there, and then he has a bad interception too. So I go with Greer, unless you want to come out with Zappy just because, he is technically the actual backup, give him a couple games if things don't work out, which they probably won't, then go to Greer for the final couple. But just to see what you have in him, like do something, make it different. Like I said, you mentioned it too. You have all these reports now that have come out. The Andrew Callahan one that I kind of wanted to see, because when these tend to come out, you're more so on the side of like, I don't really believe these. I'm kind of in wait and see mode. So the Andrew Callahan one, of course, with
that's
people.
The thing, like they're so tight-lipped, like you never hear a follow-up. It's like, oh, whoa, is this actually happening? And then it just dies.
Well, that was the thing about, because you mentioned the Tommy Curran one about how the actual quote was around the along the lines of like, he's almost certainly going to be benched, will probably be demoted to the third string quarterback going forward. Tommy Curran then had to come out because that was a Doug Kleeman tweet. And Curran said, that's all speculation, but it was funny after that tweet came out. The Patriots probably did it on purpose just to not have the media scrum and everything. But Mac Jones in practice on Wednesday was taking snaps with all the starters. And Zappy and Greer were both working with the backup. So it's not like the Patriots were going to give anything away of who their quarterback's going to be. That will probably change going into the next game. But the Callahan one was interesting, talking about, team sources estimated that about 80% of the locker room is out on Jones. And others said the vast majority of players are done with him. Both said the lack of belief spreads to both sides of the ball, with a shared sense that Jones's worst mistakes negate the best efforts of his teammates. That one's interesting to me because, we have heard kind of that leak out, as you said before, at times this season, and then they just tend to go away. So I'm curious with now the extra bye week or the extra week of prepping and everything, do you start to hear a little bit more about that? Do guys, maybe you hear some backtracking of, the locker room's still good. You're just kind of in wait and see mode just because of where you're at right now. I think we're both in agreement here. Coming out of the bye week, don't think you can probably put Mac Jones out there anymore. Go with somebody else. If they want to throw Zappy to the Wolves, go for it. It is only going to improve your draft slot and your draft capital. So if you want to do that, I'm down for it.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just overly sick of it. Like, I kind of feel like they would have done it already, but they also have so much time with the bye week, so we'll see.
True.
My gut tells me they won't do it, but I'm hoping they do. You've had so much bullshit with this team outside of the play, like off the field. You got the Jack Jones stuff, JC Jackson, Jack Jones refuting it. I don't believe him for a fucking second. And let's be honest, Jack Jones is an asshole. I'm so glad he's gone.
Yeah.
This kid has so much entitlement, like for a guy that came into the league with draft issues. You're going after fan accounts on Twitter after you get released by the only team that wanted you. He's going after the Savage Boston, whatever the fuck guy, these fan accounts that peddle fucking quotes all day, like Doug Kleeman. Get the fuck out of here. Like, the Raiders are the perfect spot, too, because he's got his old coach from high school, I believe college, too. They love criminals.
I was just going to say, they love scumbag players.
Like,
so
say what you want about, the charges and, how he got away with them. Like, he still had 2 guns in a fucking airport. Like, that's
where my whole thing comes from. And I'm so
glad they did something. There needed to be something for lack of performance, for bullshit off the field to be done to shock the locker room. And there were players that were shocked about this. And I'm glad they're doing something. Make it Bill next. Fucking make a change of quarterback if you need to. Like, who cares at this point? The team is broken. The locker room is broken. Do what you need to do. Like, don't be afraid. At this point, if you're Robert Kraft, you have to be so beyond pissed off that you should want to go scorched earth.
You shall say, you want to clean house, do everything you can to try to change the culture a little bit here. My thing on the Jack Jones stuff, it's just crazy to me. And I feel like this is just, you said, just how the type of stupid this guy is, that like how your season started off. Again, like you said, yeah, you did get off on the whole guns charges and everything thing, but that's how your season started off, man. So you're already, behind it as it is. And you still just come out and act like you don't care. And clearly, like, you clearly don't care about anything. You're up here talking about, you think the Raiders are going to be elite, stuff like that. Not a care in the world, whatever. So I don't get it, how you can start your year off like that. The whole team still decides to back you and still decides to play you, because that, again, just shows how desperate they are when it comes to roster construction. And then
And
you
he's
go out
actually
and pull.
good.
Yeah, and you have a little bit of skill here. So like a guy you could, if you get your head out of your ass, could be used right. And just couldn't do that, couldn't get out of his own way. So I'm with you. I'm glad this is where it's at now. Would have loved to have seen JC Jackson be the next guy move, because this is a guy we talked about last week. Should have been released right then and there when it came out that he
I
wasn't even
want
going to
him
make the
gone
trip.
too.
And again, just goes into the poor roster construction and how you kind of need these guys because you have nobody else. Now, of course, the Patriots will scramble to find another corner that can replace Jack Jones. But at this point, again, we're sitting here praying for better draft picks and draft spots. So who cares at this point? But again, at least it's a step in the right direction to get what looked like to be a pretty bad, character type of thing moving forward. And a guy that you don't want in the locker room having these type of problems with the season already going down the tubes like it has been.
Yeah, it just gets worse and worse every week.
It really does. It's something new every week, which at least is entertaining to come on here and talk about how just, what stupid things are they going to do next. But for, being a fan's sake of things, it's really just, Jesus Christ, could we go 1 week without having some sort of massive problem? But it doesn't seem to be the case.
God, it's so stupid. And now it's just going to be a week of, is Belichick going to go to LA? Is he going to go to Washington? Is he going to replace Vrabel in Tennessee? The Titans are 3-13 in the last 16 games, by the way. I don't think Vrabel's job is anywhere close to safe. And just get rid of him. I don't even know where I was going with that. This team is,
keep it short and simple. This
team is my brain in a tornado sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at. I've been talking about it for a while now, or have said it for a while now. I don't think anything changes until you get rid of Bill, because he's not going to change his ways. Clearly, as you've talked about, he has lost a locker room, I feel like. I can't imagine how worse this gets, but again,
I wonder if part of the reason they haven't done it is because they're waiting for Tennessee to make the first move.
I could see
that. If they fire Vrabel, Kraft will be all over it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, without a doubt. And that would be the route. I know you just said they're 3-13, 13 in the last 16. You said I'd still bring Vrabel in here in a heartbeat. Again, culture change. At least you hope it's a culture change. You hope it's not a former Patriot coming back and is going to still try to win with the old Patriot way and whatnot. Because again, I think you need a fresh voice in here with fresh ideas. But the whole thing about him going to the Chargers is hilarious to me. Like if Bill wants to go out and ruin that franchise, because they're already, I don't think that would work out there with the style of the team they have. But like, to me, I feel like for Bill, it's like Washington or bust, which we talked about last week.
See, I'm way more in the Tennessee thing right now.
Would you just flip quarterbacks, flip coaches?
Yeah, I think he's from Tennessee too.
Okay, that does make more sense. Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. Tennessee's more defensive minded.
So much
I feel
more
like
natural. Like I feel like Washington would have already fired Rivera early in the season when things got a little bad, that 3-game losing streak, and Ron Rivera just truly does nothing on that sideline. I think.
No, he does not. He just kind of stands there.
He's just an NPC.
Yep.
He just hasn't been a good coach for a while. The Commanders, they got new ownership and everything, so I'm not going to say they're a shit show. They've got some things together, but I don't know. Like the Washington thing, I have some doubts on. The Chargers thing makes sense because of Herbert. I thought Belichick would love Will Levis, and I don't know, just off of gut feeling, but I don't know, man.
The one that's funny to me that keeps coming up is the Raiders, because obviously the Raiders just got out from a horrible situation in Josh McDaniels, and now if they, as we've seen, we'll get into the week recap in a second here, but have looked pretty good under a new head coach. If they make the same mistake again, they did it with Bisaccia almost. I think they almost made the playoffs, or did make the playoffs that year with him, and then canned him the next year for McDaniels, and that didn't work out. If they do that again for another Patriot mind, like that would just be the ultimate Raiders thing. And then could you imagine, Jack Jones sticks around there. Now Bill Belichick's walking in the door to be the head coach again. Yeah. Like that's just a recipe for disaster. I don't know why the Raiders
won't happen.
Yeah. Why would they would ever entertain that, or why people would even consider making that a spot for Bill Belichick?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I want real change. Week 10, Panthers and Bears. Didn't watch. First game this year, I just chose not to watch. Didn't watch. Didn't want to. 16-13 Bears.
That's pretty much all you get. For specifics,
I didn't care to.
No, I didn't either. I just was kind of keeping, again, at work, keeping an eye on it just for something to do, kill time. It was another week, another Donta Foreman game. He had 21 rushes, 80 yards, and a touchdown. Another week, another garbage Bryce Young performance where he had 185 yards, no touchdowns, no picks this week, which was good, but 3 sacks because he loves getting sacked, and a quarterback rating of 68.4. And then as we're going to get into the theme here for, it seemed like week 10 was the week of the kickers. Cairo Santos outdueled Eddie Pinheiro, who missed 1 field goal. Santos was perfect. That ends up being the difference of the game. When the game comes down to a kicker duel or kicker battle, probably not an entertaining game unless you have one of these more high scoring games that we're going to get into. But like this next one coming up, but not good. And another week too, where Panthers fans have to be sitting there going, man, we really screwed up with the first overall pick.
Yeah, they did. Mm-hmm. And I have nothing more to add. Those teams both suck.
Yes, they do.
The Texans and the Bengals, the game I was looking forward to the most. Devin Singletary pulled some shit out of his ass with, no pun intended, with 31 out of 50 and a nice clean stat line, nice divisible stat line. And Noah Brown is nasty. 153 and then 172. Sheldon Rankins had a big game. Jamar Chase had a big day. Tyler Boyd had a big day, and CJ Stroud has the clutch gene. It appears. The Texans win 30-27 in a thoroughly enjoyable game.
Yeah, CJ Stroud, again, short sample size, but each week he is looking more and more like the real deal. Obviously can go toe to toe, blowing teams out, put up stats, or for now 2 weeks in a row, as you said, has that clutch gene to show that he can lead a game winning drive when he needs to. And the Bengals continue to kind of just teeter, it seems like. We kind of thought they were going to start to take off a little bit. They fall back here. An up and down game from Burrow. Joe Mixon had a meh performance. It was really, like you said, Chase and Boyd were the two that stood out. And now T. Higgins, again, cannot seem to stay healthy. So that you think will have to linger throughout the remainder of the season. We'll see how much it handicaps them.
Yes. 49ers 34, Jaguars 3. It turns out Brock Purdy is still good when he has his safety blankets. Mm-hmm. Debo didn't even go off, but I don't know. It's gotten to the point for me where it just makes him comfortable and he just plays better. Not even they light it up for him. He just has it's like they create an aura around him, like a bubble of some sort.
He's a bubble boy.
I don't quite know how to explain it. Maybe we should consult a scientist. CMC bet on him for a touchdown, second time all year, doesn't get it. Ruins the parlay there. Travis Etienne, a rare quiet week. He's had a tremendous season. And Trevor Lawrence, this guy needs to figure it out.
He has one or two of these games every year, it seems like. But gets on a roll and then just starts to suck out of nowhere.
He hasn't had these monster games like he had a few of last year. Mm-hmm. He's been either mediocre or pretty bad, I feel like. I don't know what's up with him. The team is solid around him. Mm-hmm. Sure, the 49ers defense when they're going are, one of the most talented units in the league. They're active 5 sacks, 2 picks, 10 quarterback hits, 6 pass deflections, 4 tackles lost, 2 forced fumbles, both recovered. And Chase Young had some decent stats in his debut, but I don't know, man. The Jaguars, they're not on that level of a
frauds
contender yet.
Question mark after 1 week.
What?
I said frauds question mark after a 1 week performance like this.
No,
a lot of teams being exposed
season.
Lately.
It's the whole season.
Is. Yeah, it really is.
Them. They're so weird. Mm-hmm. They're hard to get a read on.
I think the 49ers kind of exposed them a little bit. If you limit Travis Etienne, which they did, and you make Trevor Lawrence try to beat you, it's probably not going to end well unless he has one of these monster performances, like you said.
I don't know what they had for hopes for Calvin Ridley, but he hasn't been the game breaker he could have been for them, so that hurts.
I feel like they don't use him half the time though. It's mainly Christian Kirk and Etienne, and that's really it. Evan Ingram hasn't had a great year.
My NFL futures this year, horrible. OBJ over touchdowns. Calvin Ridley over touchdowns. Justin Jefferson over total receptions. Awful.
Well,
Jameer Gibbs and Jalen Carter for rookies of the year. Jalen Carter might win some money for me, though, because he's fucking unbelievable. Zach Martin had a lot of praise for him, which was really cool because Zach Martin is one of the best there is out there. Vikings 27, Saints 19. I love Josh Dobbs.
He's such an awesome story this year.
He is the man. The man. The Pastronaut, the best nickname in the league. So easy to root for. He's good too. I'm kind of getting the vibes like there's a quarterback every year, plays more than he might have, needed to due to injuries and stuff. And you're like, oh, he's going to get a big contract and suck. I think Josh Dobbs might just be good.
Yeah, you think
Like
so?
he
Because
did it in Arizona.
I
Like
kind of
it
lean
fell off.
towards
It fell off a
it
little
did.
bit
It started
towards
to
the end.
crumble a little bit towards the end, but
Josh Dobbs, like if you give him 10 mil a year to be like a spot starter, I think he's going to be fine, like a better Gardner Minshew. And when he starts, I think you got like a 75-25 chance of him being good. And I love the guy.
I
Love
don't
the
know if that's
guy.
too crazy to say. Yeah, I mean, he's been like I said, never. I said at the start when we first started, NFL stuff this year. Like the games he comes out, I didn't realize he was as mobile as a quarterback as he was because it seems like knows when to take off, knows when there's pressure there, to, not to make a stupid play. And then the impressive thing too is 2 weeks in, he's looked like he's been there all year. So there really hasn't been any hiccups since coming over at the deadline to the Vikings. He's been great, and the Vikings have obviously got a shot in the arm when they needed one with obviously the tough break of Cousins going down. He's fit in perfectly for them.
Yeah, and I want to put this in the middle of the podcast because I forgot to send it say at the beginning, and maybe not everybody listens to the end of the show, the outro. We will be off next week for anybody who might be expecting us for the holiday and stuff. I got some travel as well.
Not gonna record a podcast on the day of
yeah.
Thanksgiving or the night of Thanksgiving. Not a
Thanks.
smart
Everybody goes
choice.
out for Thanksgiving Eve. I'm going to New York the day after for my birthday weekend. Very excited. Going to the Bruins game and the Pats game.
Well, that's right. You get to sit through Patriots Giants.
Oh God, maybe the worst game ever.
Maybe you'll see a
TJ
tie.
Hawkinson. What?
I said maybe you'll see a tie. Would that be worth it if you go there and you see a tie?
Yes, I would love to see a tie. That'd be so funny.
You can sit there and go, yeah, I saw the Patriots and Giants. Yeah. They tied on Sunday.
Like,
it was awesome.
A little less than a week ago, the Patriots were 4.5-point favorites early on, which is so stupid.
That's wild.
They just shouldn't even allow betting on the game.
No.
You can only bet the under or something. And
TJ Hawkinson, I will
say, real quick, yeah, like that should be a pick 'em. TJ Hawkinson is loving Josh Dobbs. He had 11 catches on 15 targets for 134 yards on a TD. Whoever is the quarterback of the future for these Minnesota Vikings, of course you have Justin Jefferson, but just TJ Hawkinson is pretty ridiculous when he's open.
Yep.
And he doesn't get enough love, so I'm going to give him some love. The defense was good as well for Minnesota. They get the win. Just felt like a letdown spot for me for the Vikings. That one I was a little bit back and forth on though. Or for the Saints rather. Steelers and Packers. This game very well could have been gross, and it wasn't completely gross. The running game was fantastic for the Steelers backfield, which I didn't expect to really see much of this year. Jordan Love, decent. Couple picks though, and Kenny Pickett. The pick is looking pretty bad. He just hasn't done much of anything this year. I like the guy a lot too. Another PMT guest. Good guy, like him. Just not a good quarterback.
Yeah, I think to keep it with Barstool, I'm sure you saw Advisors last week. Portnoy talking about him and Mac Jones. I think he had the best line for the both of them when it was like you look up in the fourth quarter and both of these guys have stats where it's like 5 for 11, 6 for 12 with like 62 yards or whatever the actual stat was he gave out. And it's so true because none of these guys, him or Pickett or Jones, neither one of them light up the stat sheet. Like you look at these games and it's 120 to 140 passing yards at this point. Maybe a touchdown here or there. A pick or two and 3 or 4 sacks. Like neither one of these guys are getting it done. If the Steelers want to keep winning, they're going to have to do it in their backfield, which has been great. Like you said, I feel like you're kind of looking at what Dallas was last year. We have Jalen Warren kind of creeping up and stealing the starting job from Najee a little bit here, like Pollard did to Zeke last year. I don't think that's too far-fetched to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Najee's contract future looks like, but I don't know. It kind of feels like when Najee's time is up, it might actually just be up. Because Jalen Warren's good. He's faster. He's reliable at times. Not
better in the passing game. I feel like
better in the passing game. He's pretty damn fast when he gets the open field. He's a good player. Browns 33, Ravens 31. An awesome game. Easily could have seen this going the other way and being a little more low scoring, but I'm not entirely surprised that it wasn't. Deshaun Watson done with a shoulder injury, wanted to play through it, but the doctor said if it gets hurt again, it might just be toast, and that could affect the career of Deshaun Watson. He sucks. He's a loser, but he has $250 million, and that sucks. Will have $250 million, completely undeserving because he's fucking awful.
He's a bad human being.
Jerome Ford, pretty good, best season of the week of the season, I believe. Kareem Hunt gets in the end zone. Amari Cooper, quietly good this year, not consistently, but has quietly decent season. And Elijah Moore did something. And the running game continues to be an identity thing for the Ravens. The last few weeks, Gus Edwards has been awesome for the most part, for the large part of things. Not great numbers, but when you have two backs get in the end zone, you'll take that. Zay Flowers had one of his bigger games in a while. He's been a little quiet at times. And as you have noted here, two big pick sixes. You don't really often see pick sixes on both sides.
Yeah, two of them.
This game was a ton
yeah.
of fun too.
Mhm.
I didn't expect it to be like Texans and Bengals level, but it exceeded it. And yeah, I mean, the Browns are so weird because like they shouldn't be having games like this, but they do.
Mhm.
And defense was not their identity in this game like it has been, and they won. So it's a huge win. It's a huge divisional win. And what a game. Didn't really expect it to be quite as entertaining as it was.
No, I definitely took the over because I thought both these defenses were going to suffocate the other team's offense. Just wasn't the case.
Under.
And yeah, the under. Did I say the over? Yeah, well,
Yeah,
it
I'll be a
would
nitpicker there.
have been good if I took the over, but that wasn't the
Yeah.
case. Yeah, and I mean, I guess from a football standpoint, you give Deshaun Watson a little bit of credit, gutting this win out for the Browns, but as we said, terrible human being, so I can't give him too much credit. But yeah, and then again, of course, it feeds into the weekend of kickers. Dustin Hopkins, 40-yard winner. Good to see for the Browns keeping, their playoff hopes alive in a very tough division. Like you said, these division wins are going to be big when the season comes down to it, because I think a lot of these teams are separated by, maybe a game or less at this point.
Agreed. The Browns, weird team this year, but like in a good way.
Yep.
This game was predictably gross. Titans and Bucks 20, Titans 6.
Are you back on your Will Levis bust?
I am a Will Levis hater, so I'm loving this. Weird guy. Don't like the vibe around him.
Never trust a guy that puts mayo in his coffee.
Right now, at this point, banana in the coffee, eating full bananas. Or no, mayo in the coffee, eating full bananas.
Man in the coffee would be really bad.
He just seems like he tries to be an edgy guy. I don't like guys like that. I don't like guys with his stupid coiffed haircut. Don't like him. Don't like the vibes. He's from Newton. Don't care.
Bad vibes guy.
I don't like anything surrounding him. It's just always been that way since I first discovered him in college. This game sucked. The Bucs defense looked like the Bucs defense of old. Kalijah Kancey is not getting talked about enough in the interior defensive line. He's so explosive, their first rounder this year. Yaya Diaby, for anybody who didn't know that name exists, real guy. And Devin White. Like, I feel like kind of sucks these days, but he played good. Shaq Barrett played good, looking a little bit like the Bucs of old. They shut down Tennessee in this one.
They did. Rachaad White continues to be a surprise weapon on their offense. Yeah, he did really all the carries.
He got good fast.
He did. Yeah, these last 3 or 4 weeks, he's kind of come up out of nowhere. Mike Evans was good in this game. 6 catches, 143 yards, and a touchdown. Baker still surprisingly been good this year. Has been pretty consistent. So, the Bucs might have something moving forward, at least if they want to keep rolling with Baker. Because again, he's been pretty good. And the Titans, they are what they are. They're going to have a week where maybe they surprise you. Catch a team off guard here and there, beat them with their defense. Derrick Henry has a big game or two, but he's in a weird spot too. Like, of course, right when I trade for him in fantasy, he does this for me, so that was nice to see. My running back room in my work league continues to be an absolute disaster. I actually just moved him for and somebody else for, I think it was Rachaad White, him and Rachaad White for Alvin Kamara, so maybe that'll work out in the end. But yeah, Derrick Henry, I feel like moving forward, it's just going to be more of the same. One big week and then just completely disappoint you because his age is starting to show.
Yeah, I'm very conscious of running back age in fantasy drafts. Cardinals 25, Falcons 23, and I knew I should have picked the Cardinals. I knew I should have done it. Total letdown spot. Kyler didn't even play really good besides on the ground a little bit. James Conner.
It was okay.
Did he come back this game? Was this his first game back or second game back?
This was his first. Him and Kyler both came back at the same time.
Trey McBride, another guy that got good fast. Good player in college, but took a little time. Bijan, good God, Bijan got in the end zone. I'm so glad I didn't draft him this year. Desmond Ridder came into this game, which I totally forgot until I just saw it on the outline.
As did I.
I didn't watch a ton of this game.
Yep.
But Kyler had that one crazy run, looked like vintage, little whippersnapper Kyler running around like a little squirrel on the field. And Yeah, the Cardinals won a game, and that helps the Patriots. So thanks, Cardinals.
I don't mean to size shame, but some of this game that I caught on Red Zone, a couple of the scrambles and the runs he had, I was like, oh
He's
my
so
God,
funny.
I
He's
forgot
so
how
funny.
small he looks like a toddler running around
And
out
now
there.
Cod's out. We gotta keep that in mind with
Yeah,
the Cardinals in the
I gotta
future.
I gotta rely on him coming up because Josh Allen's on a bye. So
Oh goodness, good luck.
I'm gonna
I
hope
mean,
and
he's
pray.
so Kyler. He can drop a
The
drop
new
dick on
COD's
an
not that
opponent.
good anyway. If
Um,
he's listening, don't
I'm
play it.
so glad
Don't
I'm not
bother.
buying it this year.
You're a millionaire. Don't
Ryan,
waste
you
the
have
$70.
permission. You have permission to beat me up if I buy Call of Duty this year.
Fair enough.
Okay, hold me accountable.
Okay.
Lions 41, Chargers 38. We had some points this week. A lot of points. You can't say that about every week. The Lions and Chargers, a slobber knocker, as expected by most. I'm of the belief that a lot of games you expect to be really good kind of don't live up to the hype, but this one did live up to the hype. Lions and Chargers. David Montgomery played his balls off. So did Jahmyr Gibbs. Man, if they keep that going, they're going to be an absolute nightmare to game plan for. And Amon-Ra, come on, like Amon-Ra sometimes is just the best receiver in the world. He's so
Maybe
good.
I mean, he drops 100-yard games like it's like they're nothing.
He randomly picks games to be the best football player on the planet. Like when he is on, he's phenomenal. Chargers played really good too, though. You have to when you're putting up this many points. Keenan Allen, we're talking about Amon-Ra with 156 and a touchdown. Keenan Allen had a 20 target game with 245 fucking yards or something crazy, and had 11 for 14 and 175 yards and 2 touchdowns, dealing with an AC joint sprain. But he's expected to play.
Just saw that pop up.
Expected to play, which is nice. Good timing on that notification. And Riley Patterson plays hero ball in this. I'm so happy for Lions fans. I really am. I don't have any contempt against the city of Detroit, so I like it.
No, I mean, they're a fun team to watch right now. Obviously, it starts with the head coach down. Like you said, if you now both running backs are back, they're finally using Jahmyr Gibbs as they probably should have to start the year. You said Amon-Ra, if he continues to play like this, Goff, plays well, doesn't make mistakes. Sam Laporta, I think, got into the end zone, but didn't have a crazy stat line in this game. Obviously, he's been great this year for them. You get games like this. I mean, they've shown they can beat teams on their defense. They've shown they can beat teams, 41-38 is a close game, but 41 points, you can bludgeon a team to death here and there. Detroit is looking very scary on both sides of the ball, which again is crazy to say. Nothing against the Lions, but I mean, their own fans know the misery that they have had to suffer through. I'm with you. It's great to see them finally good. It's been a long time coming for them, and it seems like they've got everything clicking right now.
Yeah, and I can tell Matt's listening because he just added the Lions defense in our league. So must have clicked something in his brain. The Giants and the Cowboys 49-17. Can't believe the Giants even scored 17 points.
Just gonna say that. Good on them for their team total. I think was 9.5. I came close. I'm like, I know as soon as I bet the under, that they'll go over, and they did. So I'm glad I didn't waste money on that.
Dak is perhaps finally heard enough of the BS surrounding him. Don't know how much he hears of it, but CeeDee Lamb is playing like it at times and seems to believe he is the best receiver in the league. And Brandon Cooks outperformed him. Maybe this might have been the best game of Brandon Cooks' career. I don't know what his career high is per game, but he played phenomenal. CeeDee Lamb played phenomenal. That's just an insane amount of receiving yards for two guys. What's that? 20 receptions on
24 targets.
24 targets for 324 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Pretty
entirely preposterous. Just a game, where you should do that against the Giants, who are just out of the business right now. And they dominated them. And
they did.
It's been a rough year for the G-men.
The funniest thing from this game, again, I've talked a lot about fantasy this week, and if my buddy Pat is listening, I'm going to take a shot at Pat. Because the funniest thing from this game was at one point, Saquon, I think I was playing him this week. I beat him thanks to Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler, but wanted to blame Dak Prescott, who finished the game with 404 yards and 4 touchdowns, and actually 5 touchdowns with the one on the ground. Wanted to blame Dak Prescott for the reason he lost, not the fact that Saquon at one point had 0 fantasy points. I don't know who else was on his team that didn't play well, but yeah, just seeing him get mad at Dak I think it was after the interception Dak threw, was already ready to write him off, and then to finish the game with 400 plus yards and 5 total touchdowns might not have been the reason why you lost the matchup, my friend, but Just again, if he's listening, take a shot at him because that was funny to see on Sunday. Even the commissioner was like, dude, what is Pat getting so pissed at Dak Prescott for? He's not the reason why he's losing. I'm like, I don't know.
No.
Just deflecting blame.
I'll take your word for it.
Mm-hmm.
Commanders and Seahawks, we get a QB battle in this one. 29-26 Seahawks. Brian Robinson had a good day. Antonio Gibson hasn't really done a whole lot this year, but he had a good game as well. He has some cleanup duties. And they combined for 5 touchdowns between them and almost 700 yards. Pretty explosive game. I didn't really know what to expect. Probably something right around this.
Mm-hmm.
Kenneth Walker has a little dicey at times lately. He had a good game. DK and Tyler Metcalf. Tyler Lockett led Seattle's offense, as you have noted here, and Jason Myers took over. In a close game like this, you need your kicker to shine. Jason Myers did. This doesn't really change. This game doesn't really change much about either team for me, though.
No, I mean, I feel like the Commanders have kind of done this all season. They either been in games or gotten blown out. Have had some impressive performances. I think it's safe to say Sam Howell, pretty decent. Like, he's not a guy that is gonna, go out there and lose your football games at this point. He's improved throughout the season. I wanted to say I think I maybe jumped the gun a little bit on the Seahawks. I think 2 weeks ago I said, they were a team that doesn't seem like they really do anything all that poorly. Pretty well rounded all around. And these last couple of weeks have been dicey for them. So. Mm-hmm. Hand up, maybe jump the gun a little bit on the Seahawks, but they do get a good
ironic
win,
that you said that, because the right hand up thing to the Commanders fans do. Have you
true.
seen that video?
I have not, but I have heard about
video. Look up right hand up Commanders on Twitter. I'm sure you'll find that. That video makes me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Very funny.
Yeah, and then the Commanders too. It looks like got a pretty decent thing going. I know Bijan Robinson. I know Brian Robinson got his touchdown through the air this week, but it seems like he's kind of been the main running back, and then Antonio Gibson puts in a nice day in the passing game. So a nice little 1-2 punch there, something they can maybe rely on. And if they ever figure out their wide receiver situation, because I feel like Jahan Dotson didn't do a whole lot in this game, might not even had a catch. McLaurin was pretty good. If they ever get those two guys going, Curtis Samuel gets healthy, Commanders might have a little something on the offensive side of the ball. Not the flashiest names, but it seems like guys that can put up decent stats throughout the week or throughout the year.
Yeah, they're slowly putting something together, but they have hiccups along the way.
Mm-hmm.
I think a new coach could help that.
I think so too.
Personally, Eric Bieniemy's right there. Raiders and Jets, a predictably bad game. I live bet the Raiders at plus money though, so thank you.
There you go.
Josh Jacobs looking like himself from last year, didn't get in the end zone, but Devontae Adams, you gotta hope if you're the Raiders that an 86-yard performance, catapults him into one of those ridiculous 150 plus yard performances, because that's what they were hoping for this season. That's what Devontae Adams was hoping for. Mm-hmm. Garrett Wilson went toe to toe with him. And you need your kickers. It's another game. You need your kickers, and the kickers showed up, and this game stunk.
This was a kickers week. This was my I don't know what possessed me to tune in. Maybe I was just bored, like I said, to watch more Panthers and Bears game than I did Jets and Raiders. I think maybe I can't even remember what I was doing Sunday night, but this was my Bears-Panthers game. Did not watch really a second of this game because it didn't interest me all that much.
No, I didn't.
Can't get up for Raiders-Jets on
more
prime
so a
time,
background noise game.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
a little sleepy, fading in and out. It's Sunday night. I gotta work the next day.
Work in the morning. I think that's what it was. I think my first day of work was Monday. So
I do work from home on Mondays, though, to be fair. But
a
little sleepy. You gotta be sharp. Mm-hmm. Broncos and Bills, a game that definitely could have been a stinker, and you could say it was, even with a decent amount of points, especially at the end, leading to Ken Dorsey being fired. Yep. Kind of maybe the wrong guy. Maybe not. Yeah. I think you could have made the case for either one. You can make the case for both not being there at all next year.
Yeah,
I think Sean McDermott is on the hot seat right now a little bit hotter, not like Vrabel, Belichick level. Anyone else you might throw out there, go ahead. Javonte Williams has quietly been very good the last few weeks. I just traded for him as well. Finally, we have a goal. I have the over in the Blue Jackets Coyotes game. 0-0 first period, early second goal. Let's go. Courtland Sutton. Been a weird year for Courtland Sutton. I don't know.
He's big touchdown guy. That's pretty much it.
He's kind of really. Okay, he's alive after a few bad weeks. I feel like not reliable.
Awesome touchdown catch.
Yeah. Oh my God. I almost forgot about that. That was freaking ridiculous. It's a toe tap, toe drag, like you read about, like you dream about.
Mhm.
Russell Wilson was pretty good. He's like, when he has good games though, he's not like torching you through the air though. He's just like efficient, gets a couple touchdowns like around the 200-yard receiving passing yards mark.
Mhm.
And Josh Allen, I don't know what to make of Josh Allen
Mac
besides the
Jones with a
fact that he
big.
throws bad picks. And
He's
when he throws bad picks, they stand out because he's Josh Allen. He's got the name, he's got the recognition. He's in Bills Mafia. Um, is he a
Mac
little bit
Jones
of
with a
Mac,
big arm.
a little bit of Mac Jones with better marketing?
I think so. Yep. I said this the other day. I'm like, he
A
is
little bit. I'm not
he
going
is
to say that.
approaching
I'm not
Mac
going to say
Jones with
that.
a big arm because he throws some of the if it wasn't for Mac Jones, he would throw the dumbest interceptions in the NFL. I'm not afraid to say it. And I like
Oh, he
Josh
does.
Allen.
He
It
does.
hurts
And
me, maybe from a fantasy standpoint. I don't like the Bills, but I like Josh Allen. I like Stephon Diggs. Um, he throws some of the most inexcusable interceptions I've
yeah,
ever seen, excluding Mac Jones.
yeah, the brain falls out the back of the helmet
Really
somehow
does.
sometimes.
It's kind
Um,
of unbelievable.
Great job for the running game for the Bills. Can't say that every year. James Cook looked like he was going to be awesome, but he's not this
Didn't
like
start off great.
he's not this like I thought he was going to be automatic this year. He did some good games at the start, I feel like, but
Mhm.
he shows up. Latavius Murray gets into the end zone. Stephon Diggs brother wants him out. Josh Allen,
Coming.
like you
Don't
said,
worry.
played bad, and a too many men on the field to take from a hockey term here. Has a new Josh Allen meme surfacing, and the Bills in trouble. Bills
This
in
is what
trouble.
they are.
But
They're
they're
just
lucky though. They're
they're a
lucky though
dumb football team.
because it's not like the Dolphins have this huge lead at the top of the division, but the Bills are on the outside looking in.
I think they also, I thought the broadcast had a stat where they have maybe the third or the fifth hardest schedule for the rest of the way. So it's not going to be easy sailing for
Ooh.
Buffalo. This is
Well,
what they are at
brother,
this point. Yeah,
they still have the Patriots again though, right?
that's true. I
I
mean,
feel like they'll win.
I think that should.
Wait, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe the Patriots sweep the Bills. That would be hilarious.
Well, I
But
was going to
so
say
terrible.
that this is where, if you're a Bills fan, you got to be sitting there pulling your hair out because, like, we're not playing well right now. You see what the Patriots are, and the Patriots have one of their 2 wins against the Bills. Like, this is the season the Bills are having, and they're a dumb football team. Like, to watch the end of that game and to see, which I thought was, I couldn't believe how just quickly the dumbest team on the football field changed from the Broncos, deciding to try to run the field goal unit out there while time is ticking down, and rightfully so, you miss it. So I wanted to laugh about that. But then you have the stupidity of the Bills to put too many men on the field, give them another chance and win the football game. So it was crazy to me to watch the end of that game. Both teams wanted to lose it as much, as they tried to. Again, with the Broncos being dumb, just not using their timeout to put the kicker out there normally. And then the Bills being the Buffalo Bills with a stupid penalty at the end in a game where they turned the ball over 4 times. You deserve to lose, and this is what Buffalo is at this point. Now, I'm sure they'll come out, and who are they playing is they play the Jets next week. I'm sure after saying all this, they'll come out and blow doors off the Jets, and everyone will be like, "Oh, the Bills are back." But at this point, I don't know. I think this is kind of what they are. I think you brought up the whole Diggs situation. You're 1 or 2 more performances in shaky games like this from him blowing up, wanting out. If this season goes down the drain, they miss the playoffs. I think he's done in Buffalo.
He's not shy about
No, he's
showing his
not.
emotions. You can say he's one of the least shy in the league.
He's been pissed when they lose in the playoffs. I can't imagine what he's going to look like if they
He'll
miss it.
yell at Josh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's get into week 11, Ryan, shall we?
We
on
went
the season,
really quick. Yeah, go ahead.
You are 94-55. I am 88-61. You went 9-5. I went 7-7. And we'll
Had
start
a bounce
with
back
the
win
game
last
tonight.
week.
Bengals and Ravens. It feels good to have a good Thursday night football game for once.
Mm-hmm.
At least on the surface, it could be shit. I'll really go back and forth in this, but I'm going with the Ravens. Really on vibes.
Mm-hmm.
After these blowouts and then the Browns beat them. I don't know. Just Ravens, and I'm not going to think about it anymore.
It is a weird spot.
At home.
Yeah, that's my takeaway. It's a weird spot because both these teams are coming off of tough losses. Obviously, the Bengals need the game more than the Ravens do, so you think they would come out, play harder on the road. But they got a couple of big injuries. Guys not playing tonight. T. Higgins is out again. You saw the result of what happened with the offense last week when that happened. Ravens looking to bounce back. I think same thing at home. They'll find a way to win this game. I wanted to pick a split so bad because I feel like at least at the start of the year I picked that as well. Both these teams split with each other, but Ravens right now playing a little better than the Bengals are. I'm going to take them.
Yep. Cowboys, Panthers. Don't overthink it. It's the
Panthers.
Cowboys. Panthers might not win another game.
Panthers at home.
Panthers at home.
Yeah, just kidding. No, it's
Sorry,
the Cowboys.
Carolina fans.
I need to get right game here for Tony Pollard again. I've been talking a lot of fantasy tonight. Thought it was going to come last week against the Giants. It didn't. Please find the end zone, man. Get me feeling good about having Tony Pollard again. Like I know you said you're lucky, or you're glad you didn't draft Bijan. Kind of regretting drafting Tony Pollard here, but give me something this week. Light up the Panthers as you should, because they suck.
Fair, all fair. Steelers, Browns, having some fun with this one. Going with the tie. Don't know if I picked a tie this year. There has to be a tie. There has to.
It was going to happen last Thursday.
This game is going to be awful. The Steelers being 6-3 makes no sense. You could make the case for the Browns a little bit too. Maybe they're more of a 5-4, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Really going on a limb here. I'm going to go with a tie.
I'm going to take the Browns at home. I know, obviously, they just lost to Deshaun Watson. Like, what is PJ Walker at this point? But
what's football if you don't have some fun with your picks?
Exactly. I did it last week in an arguably worse game, or not arguably, a definitely worse game in the Panthers and the Bears. But I'm going to go with the Browns here at home. I think just a slightly better defense than the Steelers. I think they can, make Kenny Pickett make mistakes. Could see the Steelers coming out, and if they're able to run the ball against Cleveland, then they might take it. But I just think the Browns defense is going to hold down both Najee and Jaylen Warren.
Yeah. I don't think they'll be able to run the ball a ton as much as last week, which contributes to my feelings on a tie.
Mm-hmm.
And the Browns, I don't know if they're really going to put up much points. Lions and Bears. I think the Bears are going to make this interesting defensively. It just feels like, they get up for.
I thought you were going to say with Justin Fields back.
Like,
he's back. He is playing.
This just has the vibes of not the Lions playing down, but the Bears show up. They're playing for pride now. If you're the Bears too, you have the number 1 pick locked up at this point. Why not try and beat the Lions?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, I mean this screams trap game to me for sure.
Yeah,
again, with Fields coming back too, could want to go out and ball out. Lions, as you said, could overlook them. The Lions are at home. Like this, everything is leading up for a trap game. Lions are at home, been playing better. The Bears struggling, like you said, probably just trying to get to the end of the season at this point. Maybe trying to figure out what Justin Fields is these last few weeks. But I'm going to go against that. Everything I just said. I'm going to take the Lions. Because again, they've been playing great. I just did a whole spiel on them being able to win in more ways than one. So I'm taking them.
Very fair. Chargers and Packers. I don't like the Packers this year, so I will thus pick the Chargers. Nothing else.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Chargers too. Again, they need a get-right game. I think that'll come against the Packers, who you should be able to limit Jordan Love because he is average to below average at best.
Yeah, the Chargers need to figure out shit on defense because
they really do.
They have games. This team this year were you should be able to count on them offensively to put enough points to win, but they fuck up things coaching wise. Their defense in terms of efficiency, I saw some tweet that it was defensive EPA and something else. They're bottom 7 in the league in every category and these efficiency things for defense, and it just this is a team with a Bosa brother and Khalil Mack that should wreak havoc more than they do.
Mm-hmm.
That's really as simple as it
gets.
They
are a weird team, yeah, for sure.
They're so weird. Cardinals and Texans. I don't think the Cardinals have enough to beat the Texans. I think they're going to be riding high. The Cardinals, had their moment last week, but I don't know. I'm feeling the Texans. I love the Texans this year. I do think the Cardinals will, keep pace at least early on, or if not, make a run at the end. One of those things will happen and they'll make it interesting, but I think the Texans win.
I do too. It'd be fun to see if this turns into a Kyler versus CJ Stroud shootout, but I just think the Texans far better. Cardinals are still trying to, figure some things out, get some guys, healthier than they are. Maybe Kyler was 100% that last game, but like you said, he didn't really play like it. So maybe he's still trying to find his way back. I think the Texans are able to grab one here pretty easily.
Yeah, and I'm worried about the Titans this year, Ryan. I've said a lot with Vrabel, but
I
Right
wanted to
now,
take them in this
it's
game.
more so the Jaguars than the Titans right now. This
Mhm.
just feels like a game the Jaguars lose, but I'm going
This
with
could be
them.
your tie game in all honesty. Like, would not surprise me.
Ooh,
But
interesting.
I'm gonna go with the Jaguars, especially after like getting embarrassed last week. I just talked about bounce back games for a couple of teams, but this screams you need a bounce back game here, and I think they're able to do it at home versus a lackluster and faltering Titans team.
Do it for Adam Gaudette, friend of the program.
For sure. Yep, he's a big
Jaguars
Jags fan for some reason.
He was at the game last week and not happy.
I can't imagine he was.
Him and his girlfriend were there. I felt bad for him. Shout out to them. Raiders and Dolphins. Dolphins at home. I feel like they're a decent home team.
Coming off
The
a
Raiders
bye.
got some swagger. I really wanted to pick them, but I can't do it. I just can't. I'm going with the Dolphins.
Not with
I
that
think
secondary against this team.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like the Dolphins are going to have one of those, like, obviously Broncos level where they beat the shit out of the Broncos. But I feel like the Dolphins for a little while have been due for a big offensive explosion, like a 180-yard game from Tyreek. Maybe it's this week. I feel like they're due for like a 40-point game soon, and it might be this week.
Well,
or it's a shootout with the Raiders. This is a shootout, or the Dolphins score 40 points to me.
I think this is the comeback
and maybe
to
a shootout
moment.
comes with 40 points, and the Raiders score like 35. But I'm going Dolphins here. But I think the Raiders are gonna play spirited football and try and make the playoffs here. They got 5 wins right now. It's not out of the question. It looked pretty bad a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago or so. But I'm going Dolphins.
I think they're going to try to have a spirited effort. I don't think it's going to be the case. I think the Dolphins are just going to, again, everything is stacking up here for the Dolphins. Coming off a bye, getting a guy like A-Chain back, so now you have a 2-headed monster there. 3 if you want to throw in Jeff Wilson Jr. What's up?
Barring a setback.
Okay, so barring a setback, sure. Pretty much everybody, big name guy, was held in check against Kansas City a couple weeks ago. So Tyreek Hill's going to want to bounce back. Jalen Waddle's going to want to bounce back. Tua, same thing. I'm leaning more towards the Dolphins are going to blow doors off the Raiders in this game. Kind of a comeback down to earth game for the Raiders. Take out the victory cigars, put the lighters away for at least 1 week because this is all Dolphins here.
Yeah, I get you. I can see that happening as well. Giants, Commanders. The Commanders, I think, will win this one handily. The Giants
suck.
It's over. And the Commanders, might try and salvage something here. They sold off, but could they get into the playoffs? Maybe. This is a good way to start if they want to.
Yep.
And I think they will win at home.
Yeah, I'm not going to trust a team that's run by Tommy DeVito, so it's Commanders all day.
It's Sam Howell. Sam Howell's good. He's the perfect good quarterback right now, but he has some great games. He's approaching maybe great territory if he keeps this up a little more. We'll evaluate at the end of the season, I think, with him. Bucks and 49ers.
Did you want to go Bucks here?
Trap game?
Is it weird? No, I'm shaking my head the
swagger
wrong way.
back, and then the Bucks defense shows up, keeps it a little close. Maybe the Niners win by like a touchdown or a field goal late. I don't know. I mean, I can't pick the Bucks.
Might not be the craziest thing. No, not straight up, but it might not be the craziest thing to bet the Bucks for the spread.
Yeah, I might.
I like the point you're making here, but
I'll think about it.
Okay. I don't know. I'm going to stick with the 49ers like you did. Getting some guys back healthy. You said it perfectly. Debo comes back. Brock Purdy gets his safety blanket back. I know Debo, like you said, didn't have the greatest game, but maybe there's a correlation there. The offense started to look a little better. I think Trent Williams was back as well, so that obviously helps a ton. And you got to think CMC is going to want to get back in the end zone, start another streak. So I think he, might put up a touchdown, 2 touchdown performance here. The 49ers end up getting this one.
Yeah. I'm with you. Right. Bills and Jets. The Bills can't lose this game, right?
I wanted to pick the Jets very badly.
I did too.
Yeah, I think it's over for the Bills. I think their championship window is closed and
they can't
locked
lose
shut.
This game. They just can't.
Then that's where my mind went after that. This is the definition of a must-win game. You also just can't lose 2 games in the same season to the Jets.
Is it a must-win or can't lose?
Ooh, that's a good question. Can you imagine that the season for the Buffalo Bills would be 3 of your 5 losses?
I think it's more of a can't lose. More of a can't lose. If it was later in the season, it's a must win.
Absolutely.
I think this is a little more of a can't lose, right?
I just think it'd be hilarious that, if they go to 5-5, 3 of their 5 losses have come 2 to the Jets and 1 to the Patriots. Like, just cancel the season at that point. Ow, that would not be good. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Seahawks and Rams. Seahawks and Rams. It's been a little dicey since Cooper Kupp came back. He hasn't quite been consistent. Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua has had, he's come back down to earth a little bit too. This is the Seahawks. I think their wheels are falling off a little bit on the Rams. Kyron Williams getting hurt at a bad time has hurt them. Maybe he comes back soon. They're just dysfunctional. The Rams, they're hard to rely on. I can't pick them against the Seahawks right now, but they are at home.
So maybe there's something there. I don't know. I thought I saw Stafford might play, so maybe that's something to
That too.
if people want to take
That
the
too.
Rams. Maybe Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua get going again.
Please let Carson Wentz play.
Oh, that'd be funny. I hate Carson Wentz, as we know.
Hope
If
they
Carson
lose by
Wentz
50.
plays, it's Seahawks in a rout. But maybe they keep it close with Stafford. But I'm with you. I'm taking the Seahawks. I can't trust the Rams. You said it. They're way too streaky. Too many inconsistencies, too many injuries. Give me the Seahawks all day and twice on Sunday.
Okay, all right. I'll remind you, but twice
Thank
on
you.
Sunday.
Mhm.
Sunday Night Football, Vikings at Broncos. I really want to pick the Broncos, but I'm going with the Vikings because I don't like picking the Broncos because they are unreliable and weird.
I kind of hate this pick now that I'm looking at it again. We just talked up
Wait,
Joshua
what?
Dobbs.
Mark Andrews already concussed?
Yeah, I was gonna say that after you finish this. There's
I forgot to turn the game on.
kind of a situation. He got hit. I didn't see it really outside of him kind of just laying on the field, and everyone immediately took off, dropped helmets, dropped to a knee. So not a good looking situation at the moment. I'll keep an eye on that. But when they went to commercial, it was not looking like a good thing there.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys that's had a few as well.
Has he? Okay.
Maybe not a few, maybe like one or two, but almost certain he's got some history. So that stinks.
It was not a great
He's
scene,
had
like I
such a
said.
weird go with staying healthy lately. I feel bad for him because he's fucking awesome when he's on top of his game, but it's been hard for him to get
best tight end in the league when he's healthy.
there. Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking go back to it quick. I'm taking the Broncos in this one. You said it earlier. I think they figured some things out with Javonte Williams. Courtland Sutton has been a touchdown machine this season when he gets into the end zone. And you summed it up perfectly too. Like Russell Wilson isn't going to light you up on the score sheet anymore, but he has these just really, really efficient average games, which is kind of funny to think about. I think that the Broncos find a way to win a close one here.
Yeah, I don't know. This one's weird, but the Vikings are winning games. I can't pick against Josh Dobbs. Can't do it.
Quick update on Andrews. He is walking off the field, kind of limping under his own power. Did have a couple of guys around him, so that's kind of good to see. I'm trying to see the replay here. If he just, he went head first into the ground, so he didn't get blindside hit or anything. Just kind of I feel like we're seeing that more with concussions than anything else. Just the guys hitting the turf at full force more so than getting blindsided or their clock cleaned or anything like that, which is not great.
Oof.
Yeah. Monday Night Football, though, you said again to poorly transition back.
No, that's okay. Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl rematch at the Chiefs. It's so weird that I have questions about the Eagles and I don't really know what they are. I don't watch them. Of course, when AJ Brown goes sicko mode, that's astonishing. But their defense is good. Jalen Hurts is good, but he's not lighting the world on fire every week. He's pretty damn good though.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles are really good, but they're not top team in the league, no doubt for me.
Which is crazy to say about an 8-1 team. It really is.
It's so weird.
I get where you're coming from. They're very inconsistent for an 8-1 team. Now, they have these lapses in judgment where it's you should not be getting away with some of these games that you are, but they keep finding ways to win. That's why I'm going to pick them in this one, and I hate it because every time I picked against the Chiefs, they have either blown out the team I picked or just beaten them. So wouldn't surprise me now if Kansas City wins if your pick is right here, but I'm going to stick with the Eagles. They get some revenge for that Super Bowl, and maybe shut some people up that are starting to think that the Chiefs are the best team in football again.
See, I'm just hoping for a good game here. Hoping both teams have fun.
This is real quick on that too. This screams. We saw it in the Dolphins and Chiefs game a couple weeks ago. Screams should be a phenomenal game, and has all the makings of potentially being a letdown if this comes into a defensive game or for some reason Mahomes and Hurts make dumb mistakes, which I don't think they will. But I don't know. Like, this is a game that you really should get up for, and then you hope doesn't, but might maybe disappoint you.
I don't know why I was in the wrong frame of mind. I was like, why the fuck isn't this game on cable? Trying to put it onto my monitor here off to the side. What's next? Bruins?
Bruins, yeah, that's it for football. Unless you had any other thoughts, the only thing from
No.
Thursday Night Football is, to no surprise, Ravens got down to the goal line and Gus Edwards ran one in because he's a touchdown machine as well. So Ravens are up 7-0.
I knew I should have picked him again. That's on me. I love Gus. He's awesome. And his name's Gus. How can you not like a Gus? Bruins. They played 2 games. So
Not a whole lot to talk about. Stupid NHL schedule.
Stupid ass schedule. They lost an OT to Montreal, which I certainly didn't expect, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Swimmer played okay. They barely outshot him. Wasn't the best game. Wasn't the worst. Nice tip by Zaka early. Felt like it might have been a blowout. Wasn't the case though. I'm saying it wasn't the case a lot. Repeating myself, echo chamber. Great shot by Suzuki on a screen. Evens it up. Gallagher scores on a classic Gallagher goal before unleashing something in Swayman. It appeared, and then he got up in Swayman's face, and Swayman did what is the Madman? I think it's a clip from Mad Men. Is like, I feel bad for you. I don't think about you at all. Swayman's just not even looking at him, not even acknowledging him, which is just alpha. I love. He's developing some sicko tendencies. Went after Jamie Benn a little bit against the Stars, a little shove. Sicko Swayman, sicko man, sicko mode. Someone put him on the Sicko Mode album cover with the big metal or the big gold statue or whatever. Okay. It's like one of those. It's like whatever you call like the Fortnite apple or the Fortnite burger. It's like one of those things, but it's Travis Scott's head. Put him on that. Gotcha. Put him on Sicko Mode to be Sway Mode. I don't know, man. My brain's fucking dumb. Sometimes this happens to me.
I'm sure there is 1 or 2 people following what you are saying right now. So
yeah, I don't know, man.
There's someone sitting watching going, yes, I get exactly what he's talking about. And I'm glad he brought those points up. Ignore my
rambling.
Someone's doing the SpongeBob and Patrick meme of write that down.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Marchand scores in the power play. Good awareness to slip behind the D, scoring for back door there. Nice little stretch pass in the offensive zone. But a loose puck hits off a group of sticks out front, and Caden Gooley scores his first of the year. He's been phenomenal for them this year, I'd say. Wins it in OT. Tough loss. Not the end of the world. You lose at the Bell Center sometimes. That happens. Actually, with the Buffalo game, need to pull up the stat I did some research on. My interest is peaked when I research a stat like this. The Bruins beat the Sabres 5-2, and let me tell you about the Bruins and the Sabres. It's not November, October 4th, 2018. They have outscored the Sabres 95-37 and are 21-1.
That's ridiculous. Someone needs to fix the Wikipedia page and the owner of the Buff. I'm shocked it hasn't happened yet.
It might have.
There's your homework you did math homework to get that stat. Now I'm going to have you do some written homework and go update the Wikipedia page for the Buffalo Bills to have the Bruins as their owner after a stat like that.
No, it's fake news. Bruins won 5-2, moved to 12-1-2. Olmark makes 32 saves and 34 shots against his old team. Dan Heinen scored.
Nice to see.
First time in a while on the Bruins. Felt good. I love him. He's been so good.
Yeah, he's been so quietly good. Yeah.
He's just this is what he is. He's proven the last few years this is what he is, and this is why you should have signed him. I was so happy he's back. This is a classic, close proximity to that type of Dan Heinen goal. I get to use my memes again. It makes me so happy. I have lots of Dan Heinen memes. Love the goal. Why is he holding the goal light at like the NHL headquarters or something? I don't know. But I love that picture. It makes me smile. Matthew Poitras, a little bit of a drought. We're going to this one, but he gets a secondary assist on that goal, which is nice. Pasta scores one-timer. Like to see more of that. Like I said last week, I feel like we haven't seen the one-timer as much. We got to get him those looks more, I think. Linus Olmark went Dominic Hasek mode and went out there. He deserved a tertiary assist there. Leads that disruption by him leads to a breakout. Carlo up to Pasta or Zaka, and then it ends up back on Carlo's stick. He buries in a little tic-tac-toe with the Czech boys. Not a typical weird Brandon Carlo goal for his first one, but he loves scoring weird goals more so than anybody on the team. This time, not so much. but it's always like a weird vibe when he scores. Like I feel like everybody's like, yeah, Carlo. Everybody's like fired up normally, but like it's like, oh, Carlo scored. Haha, that's pretty funny. Because he just doesn't do it. But that's another guy, dude. Brandon Carlo, you can make the case has been the best defenseman on the Bruins this year.
Yeah, he really hasn't had any bad moments. I mean, I feel like there's, at least in years prior, there's been a couple games where it's out there and people just want to hate on the guy because he played poorly for one game, which is always funny.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to lose their minds over it.
Oh no, Bruins fans?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they don't react about anything. But no, he's been great this year. Again, obviously having McAvoy down these last couple of games, he stepped up big, so that's been good to see.
Yeah, we've seen a little low ride McAvoy. And low ride, he's good, but he still has some work to do in the defensive zone, and people are going to freak out when Grizzly comes back. But I think low ride is eventually going to go back down.
Mm-hmm.
There could have been a scenario where they didn't really have an opportunity to give this to Low unless he forces himself up here with his play. And speaking of guys who might do that, Fabian Lysell is kind of playing his ass off from the sounds of it. So maybe we see some Fabian Lysell soon. I'd love that. Join his fellow sweet Oscar Steen, who's playing pretty nice. But I'm expecting Mason Lohrei. I'm just giving people the warning. If you're going to get mad about it, don't. This is a guy who started
Bruins fans overreact? No.
Unconfirmed. I'm pretty sure Ty Anderson said this on his podcast once. I believe Mason Lohrei started playing defense when he was 17.
Jesus. Okay.
So the fact that he's where he is remarkable. And primo minutes on an AHL defensive core that's not super deep this year is going to do him well. He'll be fine. These games could have come in 2 months if it wasn't for an injury. The fact that he got an early glimpse, he's got some good pointers, I'm sure, from the coaching staff, from his teammates, little taste, little maturity up here. It's going to serve him well. He gets sent down. I promise you it's fine. He'll be okay. Oscar Steen is doing what he can to make himself stick around as the 13th forward. And I think he should at this rate. When everybody's back, I think there's a scenario where you can fit Oscar Steen in as the 13th forward. He's outplayed Patrick Brown. They're going to keep Lauko around. They're going to keep Lucic around, but Lucic is taking a little more time to come back than they expected. So that's okay. I mean, they're not like losing their minds about Lucic. Let him heal. He's getting older. He's got a lot of weight on that frame. He's got a foot injury. Like if he needs to recover from it a little extra, let him do it. Because you don't want that re-aggravated. Because if it gets re-aggravated, you might not see him again this year. Steen with a snipe. Lindholm, who's had a little bit of a rough season, has been playing better lately. Scores on a point shot. Maybe gets the confidence boosted. Victor Olofsson pads his stats late in the game. Couple nice goals. But it didn't matter. Bruins dominated this one pretty thoroughly. Needed Marchand for a parlay. I hate soapbox. Why can't you put point scorers in NHL parlays, same game parlays, besides the fact that would bankrupt the sports books? I don't get it.
Yeah.
It just it de-incentivizes doing a same game parlay because I'm not just gonna pick first here period money line, fucking this puck line and whatever. That's boring. Why can't you do point scores? Change. We're gonna start a narrative here. I fucking hate it. It just like it makes them not fun. All you can pick is goals. Goal scores are hard to pick. It sucks. Hate it. Very dumb. Little known fact. Playing in front of the home fans, almost better than a score. Glad I didn't. Fourth liner. Johnny Beecher was 73.3% at the dot. A guy that struggled at times. The guy's still learning on the dot a little bit at the NHL level. Johnny Beecher, what a performance. He was soaking it in before the game on the bench. Pretty cool moment. I believe he's from Elmira, New York. So very cool. Sure, he had a lot of family there. Zaka and McAvoy finished with 2 points, and Pasta has 3, and the Bruins take care of business. And the Atlantic Division play does not stop there because they have Montreal again on the 18th. Yes, we have 2 more days to wait to watch the Bruins still.
So dumb.
Fucking ridiculous. Like, this is so preposterous. And then they're going to have like 8 games in 12 seconds at some point in the next month. So stupid. We know the deal with the Canadians now. They're a little scrappy, maybe a little bit better than we expected. Cole Caulfield's very good. Dickhead, though, needed him to get a point for a 4-leg parlay. 8 shots on goal, no points to complete that one for me. Sucks. He leads them in scoring. They're 7-2, though 6th in the Atlantic. Tampa will be a really good test. Nikita Kucherov is playing like his ass is on fire. I think at times we've seen with Tampa, the miles of so many long playoff runs get to them a little bit. Vasilevsky's been hurt, but they're still Tampa. They're still explosive. This is a really good test for the Bruins. And yeah, we'll see if maybe Vasilevsky plays in this game. Haven't seen anything about him lately. Don't even know if he's close, but I saw him hit the ice. So something to monitor because they don't play that game for another 4 days. So a lot can change in 4 days.
Yeah.
Nikita Kucherov, though, playing very good. He has 23 points, 15 games. Lightning struggling a little bit, 6-6-4, 5th place in the Atlantic. And the Florida Panthers maybe overachieving a little bit. They're 10-4-1, 21 points, still without Montour and Reinhart, which is extra impressive. Not Reinhart. Reinhart's in the outline, though. Montour and Ekblad trying to lock them up as well to extensions, as well as Gustav Forsman. That's a lot of business to do on defense, but they got a lot of guys on expiring deals. So that's okay. Sam Reinhart has played very, very good this year. Looking like that second overall pick he was drafted to be by Buffalo. He's a monster this year. He's scoring at will, it seems. Surprisingly good. This will be another good test for the Bruins, and that's okay because it'll serve them well in the future, and especially with guys like Mason Lohrei up. If you're getting him against a better competition, that'll help him more. So, Ryan, I'm feeling pretty good. Jeremy Swayman, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about him playing like the best goalie in the world. There's not a ton to complain about. Maybe he's got a shot at the Vezina. I'd say, though, 5-on-5 scoring needs to tick up a little bit. And they started that with Buffalo, so maybe they carried in some big divisional games coming up. Overall, feeling good. Like the fourth line, Heinen, Beecher, Steen. We've seen Lauko back. That was great to see. He's got the cage on. We're going to see more and more like net guards and stuff. I saw it was some kid playing in juniors had an injury, a cut to his neck that was mitigated by a net guard. So
that's awesome.
Got stitches, patched up. Could have been worse. I can actually pull it up. It's in my Instagram DMs. A friend of mine sent me that today. Let's see. Just for because I feel like nobody's talking about it. Otherwise,
I didn't even know
really,
about it. Yeah, that's
dive into it. Let's see here. This is tweeted by HEO officiating program. U16 AAA player saved by net guard after cut by skate during a game. I'm trying to see if there's a name here. Yeah, the name isn't linked, but the kid's got stitches across his neck, and it was mitigated by the net guard. So we are seeing shit happen. I feel like I tweeted about it. I can find that tweet too. Of an NHL player who had a close call as well. It's not only player safety. It's to the point where if somebody does die, you have lawsuits on your hands. You have a PR nightmare and something that will negatively affect your league forever. And the conscience of someone dying on the ice on you, it's not worth it anymore. Especially with this story needs to be out there more. I'm putting it out here on the airwaves now. It's too scary. It's too risky to gamble with.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's again, we talked about it when the stuff first came out. Like, it's not something that's like big and clunky that it's going to affect you, that you have to wear. Like, I feel like it's something that everybody should easily be able to adjust to and not have a problem with. Yeah,
it's just not worth the risk. I'm trying to find this tweet here. Who was it? Where? I can't find it. I feel like, yeah, whatever. Something happened. Maybe somebody who's listening can tweet us about it, but I remember tweeting about it. I just can't find it. Yeah, I mean, not everybody's going to want to do it, but like, would you rather be dead? We beat this horse to death. Would you rather be dead? It's really what it comes down to at this point. It's crazy too, the timing. Adam Johnson dies from the incident. There's legal stuff going on right now, suspicion of manslaughter with Matt Petgrave. He's been arrested. And now you have the thing with Lauko that happened before. The incident I'm forgetting about was somebody else in the NHL and this U16 AAA player who realistically could have died. Like, actually got stitches on his neck. Like, not the area you want to have stitches. No. He's very fortunate. Let's just end this. This shouldn't extend much longer.
Yeah, safety above all, for sure.
Welcome to my TED Talk. That's gonna be all. it's just not worth it, man. It's not.
Nope.
I'm going
It
to
really
repeat
isn't.
myself, but if you've tuned out at this point, whatever. That's the end of the show, though. On a little bit
Reminder,
of a
nothing
dark
next
note
week.
with neck injuries and potential death, but it needs to be talked about. We had a good amount of people that listen to the show. It needs to be talked about. And this will be, broadcast across the world for anybody to listen to. So, feel something worth talking about. Bruins are good. We'll see what happens. Some important divisional games coming up. Vibes are
Get some
good.
revenge on Montreal.
Get some revenge, and we'll talk about it in 2 weeks. For anybody who missed maybe the middle disclaimer at the end, we
Yeah.
will not be live next week. We'll put out a tweet as well
Mhm.
at some point around Thanksgiving, but we will not be live next week. I'll be traveling. Thanksgiving Eve stuff the day before, and obviously the Thanksgiving holiday itself. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody who celebrates at first. Before we get into the outro here, but thank you so much for listening. As always, you can find us wherever you find your podcast. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on the Full Press Covered YouTube and Twitch channels. On Twitter at Mike_Cratty, at Ryan_Salvaggio, and the show at Salvaggio and Cratty Pod. Haven't posted on TikTok lately, but maybe we'll get back on that. You know us. If you listen to the show, we post when we want to. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, enjoy the food, enjoy the football, enjoy the family, and all that good stuff. Drive safe. Thanksgiving, people like to booze. Be safe, be smart, don't be dumb. You don't want a tragedy around the holidays because that wouldn't be good. So be smart. We'll talk to you next week. See you then. Or 2 weeks. See you
2
then.
weeks. Yep.
Fuck. Sorry, people. Sorry if that was a tease.